District Baseball returns to Don Lee Field as the Grayson County Cougars take on their arch rivals from down south in the Edmonson County Wildcats. Last night, the two teams met up in Brownsville, with the Grayson County Cougars storming ahead with a 3-1 victory behind a massive pitching performance from Dane Hawkins. This district game always means a little more. And a good evening and welcome here to Don Lee Field on a gorgeous night for baseball. Sam Gormley with you for today's action between the Grayson County Cougars and the Edmonson County Wildcats. Coming up on our pregame show, we're going to introduce you to both the Cougars and the Cats. We'll give you tonight's starting lineups and more, as this is Grayson County Cougar Baseball on K105. Welcome back to Don Lee Field. Grayson County and Edmonson County are moments away from getting underway. Warming up on the field right now is the Edmonson County Wildcats. Bringing in our color analyst for today's game, Grayson County Cougar baseball legend Briley Napier. Briley, Grayson County, Edmonson County. As I always say, it doesn't matter what sport it is. When Grayson County and Edmonson County, it doesn't matter what sport, what records, where it's being played, it's going to be a war no matter what.
Right. It doesn't matter if Edmonson County rolled a team of 7th graders out here. It's going to be an all-out war, and this game is not getting decided by any more than 3 or 4 runs. It's going to be a close one.
Last time Grayson County and Edmonson County played their home-and-home that they play every single season was back in 2019, and it was the same thing where Game 1 was down in Brownsville with Game 2 being played here at Don Lee Field. Grayson County won Game 1, but Edmonson County came back here and won Game 2. Now, circumstances are a little different because this district game does not count towards district standings. Now, if you probably ask both teams, and I'd ask you probably the same question, Bradley, that doesn't matter.
Right.
You want to win this game no matter what.
This game is more important than 3 other games this year, I guess. The games that you play, Widesville and Butler County first. But other than those 2 games, this right here is probably the 4th most important game of this season.
And, I mean, it's bragging rights, if anything else. Grayson County and Edmonson County, when they meet up, it's always an exciting time. Last night, it was the Cougars beating Edmonson County by a final score of 3-1. In that game for Edmonson County, Chaz Wilson got the start. He threw 6 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned, 4 walks, and 5 strikeouts. Only 2 hits for the Wildcats in that game. Chaz Wilson had one of them, and the other one was by Clay Walden. For Edmonson County, the 2 hitters that stand out, Chaz Wilson and Gavin Rose. Rose hitting .531 on the season, Chaz Wilson hitting .485. And, I mean, if you're hitting above .480, Briley, that's showing you're having a lot of success hitting the ball.
Absolutely, yeah. I always thought I was a somewhat decent hitter. I never touched .480. I'll be the first one to admit that. I know I didn't face Chaz too awfully much, but he was a hitter. He controlled the strike zone, and he put the barrel on the ball, and that's all it takes here in high school baseball.
Grayson County looking to move to 5-11 on the season, 2-0 in 12th district play. We'll let you know a little bit more about them coming up here on K105. Welcome back here to Don Lee Field. Grayson County and Edmonson County close to getting underway here in tonight's game. Grayson County last night was a winner against this Edmonson County team. Dane Hawkins made the start and got the win. The man, though, that's going to be on the mound today for Grayson County is going to be Mason Miller. He pitched here at Don Lee Field last Monday and threw an absolute gem. 9 innings pitched, 6 hits, and only gave up 1 run. He threw the ball extremely well. And if he does the same thing tonight, if he throws even half as well as he did against Breckenridge County last week, Grayson County should be in pretty decent shape right now. The bats for Grayson County have still been the question mark all season long. Can they hit consistently? And the only player to really do that this season has been Dane Hawkins. Hawkins on the season hitting 400, 6 doubles, a home run, and 7 runs batted in on this young season. But I mean, if you're Grayson County, this is a new year right now. It's a new season. Only games that matter are these district games. You know that potentially you could be playing this Edmonson County team again in the district tournament. So you want to be sure that you can get some momentum building before moving into these next couple of district games, as you've got a game against Whitesville Trinity that counts next week. And then in a couple of weeks, you welcome in the defending district champion, the Butler County Bears, as well in the coming days. Grayson County and Edmonson County getting closer and closer to getting underway. We'll take a break and have the starting lineups coming up, as this is Grayson County Cougar baseball on K. Now let's meet the starting lineups here for both teams. First, for the visiting Edmonson County Wildcats. Leading off and playing center field will be Clay Walden. Batting second, the pitcher, will be Gavin Vineyard. Batting third and playing first base will be Chaz Wilson. The cleanup hitter will be the shortstop, Gavin Rose. Batting fifth and left field, Cole Saling. The catcher, Isaiah Johnson, will bat sixth. Hunter Wilson, the third baseman, will bat seventh. Grayson Nunn will be the right fielder and bat eighth. And Dylan Lindsay will be the 9-hole hitter and be the second baseman. Once more, that lineup for Edmonson County. Walden in center. Vineyard will be on the mound. Wilson at first. Rose at short. Saling in left. Johnson catching. Hunter Wilson will be the third baseman. Nunn will be the right fielder. And Dylan Lindsay will be the second baseman. Now the starting lineup for the Grayson County Cougars. 4-11 record. Head coach Danny Clark. Leading off and playing third base will be the senior Dane Hawkins. Batting second, the senior center fielder, Caden Woodcock. Batting third, the catcher, will be junior Chandler McCready. Batting fourth, the sophomore and playing right field will be Camden Brothers. The 5-hole will be Eli Watson. He's a sophomore, will be the designated hitter. Mason Miller will be on the mound, and he is a senior. Batting seventh, the sophomore shortstop, Ethan Snyder. Batting eighth, freshman left fielder, Jaron Van Meter. Batting ninth, the senior second baseman, Gavin Childress. And the designated player will be Cody Shepard, and he will be playing first base. And that's Hawkins at third, Woodcock in center, McCready is behind the plate. Brothers the right fielder, Watson is the designated hitter, Miller is the pitcher, Snyder Shortstop, Van Meter in left, Childress in second. And the designated player will be the first baseman, Cody Shepard. Umpires for tonight's game in the field will be Brian McPeterson, and behind the plate will be Todd Carver. Looks like we're going to get ready to jump into a national anthem, so we'll jump into that and have the play-by-play of tonight's game coming up right here on K105. Welcome back here to Don Lee Field, Grayson County and Edmonson County, as the Cougars are taking the field right now. Left fielder Jaron Van Meter, center field Caden Woodcock, and right will be Camden Brothers. And around the horn, Dane Hawkins, Ethan Snyder, Gavin Childress, Cody Shepard, Chandler McCready behind the plate. Mason Miller is going to be on the mound here for Grayson County. Sam Gormley and Briley Napier with you here today. Briley, Mason Miller pitching. The big stat that stood out when he threw, you were not here against the game against Breckenridge County,
right,
but you can still speak to this stat once I tell it to you. Mason faced 34 batters against Breckenridge County across 9 innings. 20 of those batters, he threw a first pitch strike. All 20 of those batters that he gave a first pitch strike were out.
That's as simple as it gets right there. That pretty much sums up what you have to do as a pitcher. If Mason Miller comes out throwing strikes tonight, first pitch strikes, I can almost guarantee you he's going to walk out of here with a win.
And that's the thing. His line against Breckenridge County when they played last Monday, it was 8 days ago, 9 innings, 5 hits, 6 strikeouts, 20 first pitch strikes, all for an out.
And I don't want to put down this Edmonson County team whatsoever because they're a formidable opponent. But against Breck County, that's the reigning regional champions. Tonight you are facing an Edmonson County team that, 2 years ago, granted, it's a completely different team. They didn't even make the region tournament.
Edmonson County has not made the region tournament since 2013. Their head coach is Bo West, and leading off for them will be Clay Walden. Walden is the senior. He was 1 for 2 with a walk last night, hitting .205 with 7 runs batted in this season. Todd Carver calling the balls and strikes behind the plate. And the first pitch from the senior Mason Miller is in there for a called strike, and our game is underway. This is your official game time temperature here, 82 degrees. Some wispy clouds, but it is a perfect night for baseball. The wind is blowing in right now as the second pitch from Miller is a sweeping breaking ball that is fouled off behind the plate by Walden, and Miller ahead in the count here at 0 balls and 2 strikes. And again, we talked about it just a few seconds ago. First pitch strikes lead to success when you're pitching the ball. Miller does the little glove shake similar to Ryan Dempster, and the 0-2 pitch is high for ball 1.
And that right there, that's a setup pitch. throwing a fastball up at the chest, you have to imagine you got a nice little curveball coming out in the dirt.
Walden does lead the team in hit by pitches, and he swings over top of one on a pitch outside, and there's a first strikeout of the game for Mason Miller. Miller's stats on the season as a whole, he leads the team with a .331 ERA, 19 strikeouts. That was just his 20th of the season, only 9 walks. So he's thrown strikes, and throwing strikes usually leads to success. As the batter now will be Gavin Vineyard. He's going to be Miller's counterpart as the pitcher, and he swings over top of the first pitch. Vineyard on the season hitting .304, 6 runs batted in, 3 doubles. He does have a home run and leads the team with 15 runs scored. Pitch outside hits the backstop, and that'll move our count here to 1 ball and 1 strike. Vineyard last night 0 for 3 against the Grayson County Cougars. Grayson County playing him pretty much straight away. And a swing and a miss on a pitch inside, and Miller was getting that pitch a lot against Breckenridge County, and if you can get the inside strike, hitters don't like it when it's inside. Well, some do, but for the most part they don't. He goes outside this time, and that'll even up our count here, 2 balls and 2 strikes. That's kind of one of those things, and you know this well, Briley, as a catcher, inside, outside. You kind of want to move the ball around to keep the hitter guessing. The break even is ripped foul.
And right here, after pulling that fastball, probably about 80 feet foul at least, you got to throw something off speed here. You don't want to time him up with a fastball.
The break even one more time is in the dirt. It gets past Chandler McCready. Luckily, no one on, so our count will move full here. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Here, and one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to put a runner on base for whoever's on deck right now. You don't want a runner on base for Chaz.
Chaz Wilson, one of the more formidable foes in this lineup, and there's a little bloop pop fly off to the right side. Childress chases back, falls down, and makes the catch. Nice play by Gavin Childress, and there's the second out of this inning, and as Briley mentioned, that'll bring up Chaz Wilson. Edmonson County last night had only 2 hits in the game. One of them was by Chaz Wilson as he ripped one over the third baseman's head, and he almost had a second hit that he was robbed of one by Gavin Childress in the first inning. First pitch here from Miller is a foul tip into the glove of Chandler McCready.
And if you're the Edmonson County team right here, you don't want to be hitting the ball to Gavin Childress. That's for sure. That's a vacuum cleaner over at second base.
And he proved it last night. The 0-1 coming to Wilson. He's in the dirt. That'll move our count here to 1 ball and 1 strike. Wilson on the season hitting .485, 7 doubles, 2 home runs, 12 runs batted in. And Chase Blaine, who was filling in for you last week, is the pitch from Miller. Just misses inside and falling behind in the count here at 2 balls and 1 strike. We were talking about OPS, and it's a good stat to show how successful of a hitter as you are.
Yeah.
And Chaz Wilson, as the 2-1 pitch is outside and 3 balls and 1 strike, moves it. His OPS is 1.49, which is ungodly high.
OPS is by far my favorite stat in baseball. It encompasses everything that's important, getting on base and driving the ball in the gap.
And Wilson dribbles one foul down the third base line, and our count will move full.
And anytime you can get an OPS that starts with a one dot, you're doing something right.
And what OPS does, it calculates, it gives you, in a way, the most simple way to describe it is it gives you more points for home runs, more points for triples, and so on. Is the more bases you get, the more points, quote-unquote, it gets. There's a rip to Hawkins at third. He throws across the diamond, and 1, 2, 3 go the Wildcats in the top of the first. Through the first half of the inning, no score between Grayson County and Edmonson County. This is Cougar Baseball on K1. Gavin Vineyard, the starting pitcher tonight for Edmonson County. Vineyard on the season. Will be his sixth game, fifth start, 1-3 with an 11.80 ERA. His whip is around 2.83. So we'll talk a little bit more about whip as this inning goes around, but it's simple enough as it stands for walks and hits per innings pitch. So that means that Gavin Vineyard is giving up 2.83 walks and hits an inning.
Which is not necessarily what you're looking for as a pitcher.
Because it usually means that he's putting himself into trouble.
Yep.
And the biggest thing that when you look at this is Vineyard, 11 strikeouts, 8 walks. So that means that he's pitching to contact a lot. Mm-hmm. And if you're Grayson County, that means one thing, doesn't it? If you're pitching to contact, you got to
jump on it. Be aggressive.
And hit
the fastball. Hit the fastball. You don't want to fall behind here.
Chaz Wilson got the start last night for Edmonson County as Dane Hawkins will lead off for Grayson County. And Dane last night led off with a base hit. And if you are the leadoff man, that's your job. You got to get on base no matter what it happens.
Right.
As the pitcher Gavin Vineyard looks in from the sign from Isaiah Johnson, Dane Hawkins looking to smack one early on. And the first pitch is a fly ball center field straight away. Walden goes back maybe about 4 or 5 steps, and there's the first out of the inning. They had him played perfectly. Walden angled back just a couple of steps. 1 pitch, 1 out for Grayson County, and that'll bring up Caden Woodcock. He was 1 for 4 last night with a run scored, as he scored the second run of the Grayson County game in that first inning, as the Cougars scored 2 first-inning runs against Edmonson County. On the season, hitting 200, 2 doubles with 2 runs batted in. And he swings over top of the first pitch there from Gavin Vineyard. Edmonson County pitching staff, Chaz Wilson for the Wildcats has an ERA just about 2.5, which is pretty good when you look at for your ace of your pitching staff. There's a pitch inside that'll move our count here to 1 ball and 1 strike. But the pitching staff for Edmonson County, other than Chaz Wilson, has been a struggle. 3-9 record with an 11.09 ERA and a whip of about 2.5. And there's a breaking ball that gets called a strike on the inside corner. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes here from Gavin Vineyard. So it's showing, though, that walks and hits lead to runs, and you got to be aggressive if you're Grayson County. Woodcock grounds one to the shortstop. Rosie boots it, throwing across the diamond, and there's no chance he's going to get Caden Woodcock. E6 is how you'll score that one, and when you have an error, got to make them pay.
And put simply, if you're the Cougars, you got to put them all in play, because that's not going to be the last one they make tonight. I think I'm pretty confident in saying that this is not a team built around defense, and you got to put the ball in play. And you're going to have base runners just like that all night long.
Chandler McCready up now for Grayson County. He went 2 for 4 last night. All of his hits this season, though, have been singles, so he's yet to go for an extra base hit, and there's a pitch outside for ball 1. And
funny enough, we were talking about that game. Me and Chandler, his slugging percentage is the exact same as his average, and he was like, "Why is that?" I said, "Well, you haven't put the ball in the gap yet."
And what better time to do that with speed on first base? Woodcock has a decent lead. Grayson County base running last night was a problem. Woodcock is off. It was a hit and run and fouled off, and that'll move our count here to 1 ball and 1 strike. The Cougars were picked off 3 times last night.
Yep. You can't run yourself out of games.
And luckily, you won the game 3-1, so it's, I'm sure Coach Clark was by no means happy, but he's happier than he would have been if you would have lost 4-3.
Coach Clark is a good enough coach that he's never satisfied after a win. There's always things you got to work on.
Vineyard checks the runner, Woodcock at first, and now he's going to look him back. And we'll do this one more time. Woodcock on the season as a whole, as we mentioned, still looking for his first extra base hit, hitting .240 with 2 runs batted in. The pitch, Woodcock off again, and McCready grounds one under the glove of the third baseman. Woodcock takes a hard turn around second. But another single for Chandler McCready. That's a tough one on whether you go error or single. And I think that,
it looked like probably an error to me.
It's a tough play.
It's a tough play.
Moving to your left, but I'm thinking I'm a lefty. So for me, I'd have to backhand that one. That's why I'm thinking that's probably it. But
luckily for you, you're never going to have to play infield.
Well, you say that, but in kid pitch, for whatever reason, my coach didn't know what he was doing and put me at second base.
I'll feel pretty bad for you then.
As it'll be Camden Brothers to hit now for Grayson County. And he swings at the first pitch. It's a ground ball to the shortstop. Bobbled again. Picked up, though, by the second baseman. as I guess you could say Gavin Rose kind of batted that ball towards the way of Dylan Lindsay. So they are going to get a runner out at second base on a fielder's choice.
Yep. That went from the third error in a row to a ground out pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, it was a nice job by Rose to make something out of nothing, making sure that you didn't make a second bad play in a row. It'll be Eli Watson to hit now for Grayson County. He's hitting .231 on the season with 1 double, 5 runs batted in. He had an RBI in the game last night.
Tell you what, that's the baseball gods doing work right there. As a shortstop, you boot a ball. Where's that ball coming? It's coming right back to you.
You've got runners on the corners, 2 down here in the bottom half of the first inning. Vineyard checks the runner brothers at first. The pitch, cold strike.
Big opportunity here in the first inning. If you're the Cougars, you want to jump on them, and you want to score early and often.
It's 100%. I mean, that was the biggest thing last night. Grayson County scored 2 runs in the top half of the first inning, and
it's deflating.
Before Edmonson County even got a chance to hit a pickoff attempt, brothers just in ahead of the throw. Again, you saw that multiple times last night that the Cougars were picked off, and I could tell that there was some major frustration happening on it because a couple of them were not necessarily good pickoff moves.
Yeah, I was about to say that wasn't a good move, but Camden was leaning and almost got him.
Another big lead. He's off, and they haven't picked off, but Brothers is going to be in ahead of the throw down at second base. So he kind of gets a little bit of a break there. He gets a stolen base out of it, but
truthfully, when you got a defense struggling like this, that's almost what you want to do because all it takes is one bad throw and Caden scores.
It was probably a smart play by the first baseman, Chaz Wilson, to not throw the ball away, or to not throw because Woodcock has speed down at third. The pitch, Watson swings at a pitch in the dirt, and he's falling behind in the count here at 0 balls and 2 strikes. So you've got 2 runners in scoring position. If you're Eli Watson, you're thinking base hit to the outfield to score 2.
After a swing like that, you got to step out, you got to take a deep breath, and focus in on the pitcher.
Vineyard delivers in the dirt. And good eye there by Watson to not make a second bad swing in the at-bat. As again, Watson on the season hitting that .231 average. Does have the double. He had 5 RBIs. One of those coming last night. He was 1 for 4 against the Wildcats in Brownsville. The 1-2 pitch, swing, and then, no, he got a foul tip, says the umpire. Just enough of it.
If you're Eli here, after swinging at 2 of those, you have to expect another one.
He's thrown those pitches in the dirt, and Watson has swung over top of them both times he's thrown it. Vineyard checks the runner Woodcock at first. Brothers at second, delivers the pitch. Fouled off again. Staying alive here is Eli Watson. And that's what you need to do. It's one of these things that when you've got 2 runners in scoring position, keep fouling off pitches. Wait for your pitch. You see the Reds' Joey Votto in his prime, and when he's on, he does that. He'll foul off 6-7 pitches if it means that he's going to get a pitch that he could smack into the gap. And Watson swings over top of that one, and that is strike 3. The Cougars strand a pair in scoring position, and through 1, no score from Don Leitchfield. This is Cougar Baseball on K105. Gavin Rose to lead off the inning for Edmonson County. Rose leads the team with a .531 average, 14 runs batted in, 3 doubles, 2 triples. And he also shows some speed on the base pass, and he watches a first pitch right down Broadway for called strike. We talked about OPS with Chaz Wilson. Chaz Wilson is a 1.49. Gavin Rose is a 1.41, which is an unbelievable total for your 3 and 4 hitter. Pitch outside for ball 1. In fact, when you combine the OPS between Chaz Wilson and Gavin Rose for Edmonson County, you have a 1.68 OPS for 2 hitters in their lineup. As there's a pitch in the dirt, nice pick by McCready behind the plate, and falling behind in the count here at 2 balls and 1 strike.
It's hard to argue against stats like that, but if they want it, they got to prove it tonight.
And it's one of those things that Wilson and Rose combined for a 1.68 OPS. The rest of the Edmonson County team, a .63 OPS. So it shows that these are the 2 bats that you need to keep an eye on the most in this lineup. That pitch just misses inside, and Miller is falling behind in the count here at 3 balls and 1 strike. So it'll be Rose Sailing Johnson for the Wildcats in this inning. Pitch inside again, and
that's not how you want to lead off an inning here.
the game against Breckenridge County, our home plate umpire that game called that pitch consistently on the inside. That was just his zone, and some umpires call it more than others, and it seems like our home plate umpire, Todd Carver, tonight is not going to call that. And like I said, I've said it once, and there's a little dribbler to the right side, and it's going to get through into right field. Cole Sailing, that ball wasn't going fast at all, but it finds the hole.
It's about a 40-mile-per-hour exit velo, but guess what? You hit it where they're not, and you get rewarded for it.
So now Edmonson County puts the first 2 runners on base for the catcher, Isaiah Johnson. He's hit 132 on the season, a double, a triple, but he has struck out 13 times. He's also hit 1 home run. Pitch, he shows bunt, goes right through over top of it. And Edmonson County trying to move those runners over into scoring position.
And this is the textbook sack bunt situation here. When you got a team that really can't seem to find a groove on offense, you got to get the runners in scoring position.
Miller checks the runner, showing bunt. It's a high pitch, and again he swings over it, and that's a good way to do it. When he's trying to bunt, he gets 2 quick strikes, missing the bunt. And head coach Bo West is pacing down in that third base. He's making that third base coach's box about 50 yards. Miller checks the runner again, delivers the pitch, and fouled off by Johnson. Now, Johnson last night and tonight as well was behind the plate, and he took a foul ball. And, Briley, you know this as a catcher. A foul ball off the inside of his knee. So it's like on the side of the inside of his knee. It's the one part that there's really no padding.
You never get hit where you have padding. It's always where you don't.
And there's a swing. No, it's a swing and a miss. It's dropped.
First base is occupied.
And so first base is occupied. So exactly, he can't go anywhere. So that's a swing and a miss.
And I tell you what, as a batter there, you have to know the situation. You have to know that you can't advance, because a bad base runner, they see that runner going to first, and you run yourself out of the inning. So you can't be doing that.
Because if the runner would have run, then
could have thrown him out pretty easily.
Exactly. As the batter now will be Hunter Wilson. And he watches a first pitch blow for ball 1. Wilson, a 7th grader, getting the start tonight. He's 2 for 13 on the season. He went 0 for 1 last night, but did have the 1 RBI of the game for the Wildcats. He'll try to add the second here, and there's a pitch outside, and falling behind in the count here, 2 balls and no strikes, is Mason Miller.
And he looks real comfortable here in the box to be a 7th grader. It's really impressive.
He's had an RBI in his first district game, nearly a pickoff down at second. Very close. Rose just gets in ahead of the time, and Briley, we talked about that. Midnight, is that what it's called?
Daylight.
Daylight.
Close enough. But yeah, that was ran to perfection there, and that's a bang call that could go either way.
Miller checks the runner again, delivers the pitch, and that misses somewhere. I'm not entirely certain as to where. But
I think it's pretty easy to say this umpire, his strike zone, it's small, and the offense has to recognize that too.
Pitch called strike, and that's your old 3-0 strike call. Yep. And that moves the count here to 3 balls and 1 strike. And if you're a pitcher and a catcher, you need to learn that the umpire has a smaller strike zone, and you need to adjust. Fly ball, left center field. Van Meter angles over to his left, and they run into one another, and Woodcock is the player that makes the play. As Woodcock came all the way over from center field to make that play, his hat came off, but makes the catch, and that's just not good communication.
And that's going to be a butt chewing in the dugout in between innings for Woodcock there.
And that's tough because you got a freshman in left field and a senior in center field. It'll now be Grayson Nunn. Nunn did not play last night for the Wildcats, hitting .095 on the season with 2 runs batted in. The pitch is a swing and a miss. And now Mason Miller has a chance to get out of this inning with no damage.
And he's done a real good job to fight back after the 2 leadoff runners. You get out of this, you got a lot of momentum going forward.
Miller checks the runner, pitch, outside. Again, this is almost one of these things now where you don't forget about the runner, but you don't have to worry about him as much because you can focus on the batter, because if he gets out, it doesn't matter what they do. The 1-1 bounces in the dirt for ball 2.
Yeah, and that runner on second, he's already a little timid after that daylight attempt. He's probably not getting too big of a lead anymore.
Gavin Rose on the season, 10 of 10 on stolen bases down at second base.
Well,
called strike on the inside corner. So that'll even up our count here at 2 balls and 2 strikes. And I heard last night when we were down in Brownsville, deuces is what they were calling this one.
When you're in the field, you got to rub the cap of your hat.
The break even. Called strike 3. That's the inning. Mason Miller allows 2 runners to reach base, doesn't let any of them cross. And through 1.5, it's no score between Grayson County and Edmonson County. This is Cougar Baseball on K1. Mason Miller will lead off the bottom of the second inning for Grayson County. Pitcher on pitcher to start off this second. Grayson County left 2 runners in scoring position in the bottom of the first, but then let Edmonson County leave 2 on base as well in the top half of this second inning. Gavin Vineyard in for this second inning of work. Miller has been in a little bit of a slump to start this season. 143, only 5 hits on the year. 1 of them was a double. 3 runs batted in. And the first pitch to start off the inning from Gavin Vineyard is low and outside, called strike. I think that's probably one of those that Mason Miller, being the pitcher, is asking where was that a half inning ago.
It was a close one.
Vineyard checks the sign from Johnson, winds and delivers the pitch to Mason Miller, and Miller fouls that one off, and quickly behind in the count here at no balls and 2 strikes is the senior Mason Miller. It is an absolutely gorgeous night for baseball. It's warm, but the wind is blowing, which makes it feel incredibly comfortable. Miller flies one right center field. The right fielder, Nunn, catches it. See, looked like it was going to get a little further into the gap, but Nunn was shaded over a little bit towards that way and makes the play.
And that's a good piece of hitting right there for Mason. You get the outside fastball, you take the ball the other way. He got it off the end of the bat just a little too much to burn the gap.
Ethan Snyder will be the hitter for Grayson County. 0 for 0, obviously, tonight with his first hit, and he fouls that one off behind the plate. As Snyder last night was 0 for 2 with a walk. He's hitting 167 on the season with a double and 4 runs batted in. So 1 down here in the bottom of the second inning, and Vineyard kind of steps off and he's going to recollect himself. Sees the sign from Johnson, winds and fires, and Snyder right back to the pitcher, and it's caught by Vineyard. Nice play by Gavin Vineyard, and sure, if you're Ethan Snyder, you're saying, come on, man. That was a base hit up the middle, and it's robbed by a nice play by the pitcher.
I've had a couple of those in my time, that's for sure, and it hurts.
And quickly stepping in is the lefty Jaron Van Meter, the freshman, and he watches the first pitch called strike on the outside corner. Van Meter on the season, hitting 192. But I know, Briley, we've talked about this off the air, maybe even it was the last time we were on. There's a pitch outside in the dirt. Nice stop by the catcher, Johnson. Van Meter is a freshman. In 3 years, he's going to be a ball player.
He's already a real good outfield glove, and the bat's going to develop over time. The more you see varsity pitching, the better batter you're going to be.
The 1-1. Swing and a miss, and he falls behind in the count here at 1 ball and 2 strikes. He's just got some players when they step up, you can see him as a freshman, you can tell they have it.
Yep.
And in some instances, you can't describe what it is.
Mm-hmm.
He just has it. He looks confident. He looks like a ball player out there.
Yep.
So there's a pitch he watches outside. It seems like he's got a good command of the strike zone,
and
too.
I know all about playing as a freshman. My freshman year, we had 6 of us playing, and
the break-even pitch coming to Van Meter is a ground ball to the shortstop, Rose. He throws across the diamond, and Wilson has to come off the bag. He does, and tags Van Meter. Through 2 innings, no score here from Don Leitchfield. This is Grayson County Cougar baseball on K1. Lindsay will lead off the top of the 3rd inning for the Edmonson County Wildcats. 240 on the season, 2 runs batted in. He struck out 9 times. Mason Miller did a great job after the first 2 runners reached base in the top half of the 2nd to allow none of them to advance any further. So he did a great job there in battling back. In on the grass is Hawkins, the 3rd baseman. The first pitch to Miller is high and inside for ball 1. So you've got Hawkins, who is in on the grass at 3rd base. Cody Shepard, the first baseman, is playing back at first. Swing and a miss by Lindsay. So I guess, Briley, you know Danny Clark, you know his defensive alignments. Is this a presumptive bunt here, looking for Dylan Lindsay? As the 1-1 is a swing and a miss at a pitch high, and falling behind in the count here at 1 ball and 2 strikes is Dylan Lindsay.
With a 9-hole hitter, more often than not, you're going to have a little bit of speed and more of a weaker bat. So you just have to rather be safe than sorry.
And the 1-2 is just fouled off. It was a nice job there by Lindsay to extend his arms and make sure that he didn't swing over top of that one and got just enough of it. And we'll do the 1-2 pitch over one more time. Miller waits for Lindsay to get into the box. The pitch is a fly ball, right field. Brothers goes over to the line, and he's going to run out of room. So Dylan Lindsay doing a nice job keeping this at bat alive, and Dane Hawkins' win there got to be 2 strikes. Scott scooted back now. He's even with the 3rd base bag because presumably you will not see a bunt here.
It's not going to happen, no.
The 1-2 pitch coming to Dylan Lindsay. Swing and a miss. Miller gets the strikeout, and they're going to tag him out, and there's the first strikeout of the inning. And we're going to go back to the top of the order. It'll be Clay Walden for the Wildcats.
That's a big strikeout. You can't let the 9-hole batter get on with the leadoff coming up. That'll just lead to a bad inning.
Walden struck out swinging in his first at-bat. And the first pitch to him is a swing and a miss. Miller's missing some bats early on for Edmonson County, as their 1 hit of the game so far is one that was rolled pretty much out there. It was very slow, but it doesn't matter as there's a pop fly off to the right side. Fighting over it, Childress will call everyone off and make the play. So it was a nice job there by Gavin Childress. That's his ball all day for the second baseman, and you could tell that he called away everybody.
Out there in that Bermuda Triangle of sorts, the second baseman, he has the best angle at it. He's got to go get it, and that's what Gavin does.
So a nice play there by Gavin Childress, and there is 2 quick outs in this inning, and it'll go to Gavin Vineyard, the pitcher. He popped out to Childress, and he swings at the first pitch. Diving attempt by Hawkins, and it's Snyder who recovers, throws across the diamond, and not in time, though, to get the speedy Vineyard down at first.
And that's about all you can do on a play like that.
So he's hitting to the hole.
Backing it up really well, makes a good throw. He did what he could.
Yeah, it was a nice throw by Snyder. He couldn't have played it much better.
No, that's just baseball, really.
We are going to have a courtesy runner in for Edmonson County, as it is going to be number 17, Darren Alexander. Alexander got the start last night, went 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts, and the hitter will be Chaz Wilson. And we talked about it. This is the best bat, probably. I mean, average-wise, Gavin Rose is the best bat, as Wilson fouls that one off behind the plate. But Wilson just hits the ball hard every single time he comes up, as he went 1 for 2 last night. He lined one over the third baseman's head in one of his at-bats. He had one that he was robbed on a hit back up the middle. Pickoff attempt in safely is Alexander at first. He's just a great player. Next year, he's going to take when you're a great player at the high school level, you get a college offer, and he's going to be playing baseball at Kentucky Wesleyan next year. So all the best of luck to Chaz. And he fouls another one off, and Miller's ahead in the count here at 0 balls and 2 strikes. I know, Briley, I know you being a fan of this show, do you know on Kentucky Sports Radio who's the Kentucky Wesleyan baseball legend? There's another pickoff attempt, and he's in safely.
I'd prefer not to answer so I don't make a fool of myself.
Ryan Lemond.
Okay.
Ryan Lemond. He is,
I saw that today's actually his 10th anniversary on the show.
It is. You can listen to that on Leitchfield's Country Station 1039 The Moose, as there's a pitch high.
That's a shameless plug.
Oh, that's what we do from 10 a.m. until noon. Weekday mornings. Ryan Lemond, though, I think he still is the all-time stolen base leader.
Really?
For Kentucky Wesleyan
Couldn't
College.
Tell it now.
No, you could not. And I think he would say the same thing. Miller checks the runner at first. The pitch to Wilson is in the dirt, and advancing to second is Alexander. Took McCready a second to find that one, but he ends up doing so, and wild pitch leads to the runner to advance to second.
And there, if you're McCready, with 2 strikes, you have to body that ball up. Because if Chaz was to swing at that, he's on first base now.
And you've got runners on first and second with 2 down. The break even coming. Miller checks the runner at second. Checks him one more time, now delivers the pitch. In the dirt this time, McCready does a nice job stopping that one. And Miller had a little Johnny Cueto of sorts there. He had a little bit of a turn back to look at second base before he threw that one. And
there was a pitcher for LaRue County that was my age that I used to face. Couldn't remember his name to save my life. But he'd turn, do a little shimmy. And
like a Johnny Cueto?
It messes with you, I'll admit it.
The 3-2 pitch with 2 outs coming to Chaz Wilson. Called strike 3 at the knees. Wilson didn't agree with it, but that is the inning. Edmonson County strands another runner in scoring position and through 2.5. No score from Don Lee Field. This is Cougar Baseball on K. Welcome back here to Don Lee Field. Bottom of the 3rd inning we come, and it'll be the 9-hole hitter Gavin Childress to lead off for Grayson County. Childress on the season for the Cougars, hitting .227, with, of course, has to have a triple.
Oh,
2 runs batted in. Sam Wormley and Briley Napier on the call here on K105 Digital Productions. It is a perfect night for baseball here at Don Lee Field. Wind swirling around, It's kind of blowing in, but it's kind of moving a little bit as the game moves on.
Not enough to affect any fly balls, though.
No, not too much. And the first pitch here from Gavin Vineyard is swung over top of by Childress, and quickly ahead in the count here at 0-1 strike is Vineyard. Vineyard so far has been efficient, only 26 pitches through the first 2 innings. Miller has thrown quite a few, though, to start, as Childress swings over top of that one. As Mason Miller for Grayson County through 3 innings has thrown 52 pitches. So not terrible, but something it's going to keep an eye on.
He's certainly racking up more strikeouts, though, which will bump the pitch count up.
The 0-2 to Childress is a pop fly right side. Lindsey, the second baseman, goes back and makes the catch. So he had to go back a little bit further to make that one. At first, it almost looked like he lost that ball in the sun, but makes the play, and there's the first out of the inning.
That was a nice play right there. The right fielder should probably come and call that off, but second baseman did a good job of tracking that.
It's a tough play to make when you're going backwards.
Yep.
Dane Hawkins back to the leadoff spot. He saw one pitch and flew out to straightaway center field in his first at bat. Clay Walden had him played perfectly, had to move just a couple of steps back. And the pitch to Hawkins is in the dirt for ball 1. Hawkins pitched last night for Grayson County, had a complete game, 2 hit, only 1 run allowed. He struck out 9 Wildcat batters, one of his best games on this young season. The 1-0 is in the dirt for ball 1. Last week against McLean County, he had his first home run. First home run of his career, Brian?
Yep, first one. He let me know about it, don't worry.
And he almost had 2 in the same game.
And I think he bat flipped and ruined himself of a triple.
The 2-0 is a base hit up the middle. Lindsey won't get to that one, and there's a hit for Dane Hawkins. Grayson County's got a runner on base here with 1 down.
It's a good piece of hitting right there. You get a fastball down the middle, you have to do something with it. You drive it back up the middle.
And Lindsey almost made a very nice play there. He almost snagged that one.
Been.
As we'll try to throughout the night bring you some updates from the Lady Cougar softball game, as I'll try to pull that one up as we're sitting here. They're playing at Apollo today. So we'll try to see if we can't bring you some as the evening goes on. So it is batting now will be Caden Woodcock. He reached on an error in his first at bat as there's a pickoff attempt in, and Hawkins slides in safely. As Woodcock, he's got speed, and for him, he's one of those that if you hit the ball on the ground, as he shows bunt, and it's hit right to the pitcher, and he's going to throw on, and there's a beautiful sacrifice bunt attempt. And there's 2 down in the inning, and it's going to go to the 3-hole hitter for Grayson County. It'll be Chandler McCready. As Vineyard, it goes 1-3 on that putout. Riley, didn't seem like you were too keen on the call to bunt there.
I don't know if Coach Clark's going to be coming back to listen to this, so I won't ride him too hard. But not the biggest bunt guy. And
Chandler McCready swings over top of that one.
Chandler McCready can shut me up here by getting a base hit and driving in the run. But with 1 out and a runner on first, really, it's not worth the sacrifice to get the runner up and have 2 outs in the inning.
The 0-1 pitch coming is inside, and Grady almost looked like he's going to stick that knee out there and let it hit him.
Hey, I taught him that one.
I was going to say, you're the king of getting hit by pitch, especially getting hit in the head, right?
Hey, best believe it.
The 1-1 pitch coming here to Chandler McCready. The go-ahead run is in scoring position, Dane Hawkins. The pitch is a fly ball left field, and that one is going to be a
foul ball.
Foul ball.
That's a nice rip, though.
It is almost his first double of the season there for Chandler McCready. An update from the Lady Cougars softball game, and it's not a good one. Top of the second inning, they are losing 9-0 against the E-Gals of Apollo.
After jumping on that fastball, they're going to slow Chandler down here, and he's got to keep his weight back and drive the ball right back up the middle here.
The 1-2 pitch coming. Checks the runner, the pitch. Nice eye by McCready to watch that, and it's going to even up the count here at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Deuces is on the way.
Hawkins is the runner at second. Lindsey is almost standing on second base. The second baseman now, he's going to back off. McCready watch the pitch outside, and that's a called strike 3.
It's a bad call. Simple as that.
So through 3, it is going to be no score between Grayson County and Edmonson County. This is Cougar Baseball on KHSAA. Welcome back here to Don Lee Field. Top of the fourth inning we go. Still no score between the Cougars and the Wildcats of Edmonson County. Mason Miller in for this fourth inning of work. And it'll go 4-5-6. Gavin Rose will be the leadoff hitter for Edmonson County. He worked a walk in his first at bat, again coming in to the game with a .531 average. Now, this is one of these things, though, Briley, you'll speak to it. Again, we can say, the only person who's truly right about a call is the umpire. We can say about that. And that pitch,
that's how
from our
baseball
vantage
works.
point, was outside. It's the first pitch coming here from Mason Miller is a called strike. But if you're Grayson County, especially Chandler McCready, who is, other than Mason Miller, has to have the best relationship with the umpire, you have to forget about it, don't you?
Yeah, you can't take that to heart.
As there's a pitch that bounces, and thank goodness for the net, as that one almost came up here, and we were ready for it.
You got to forget about that real quick, and you can't show up the umpire. In my opinion, the catcher has to have the best relationship with the umpire.
Because you're right there by him.
Yep.
There's a called strike, and 1 ball and 2 strikes is our count. And it's one of those things that I know that you'd love to hear when major leagues, and obviously when you're an MLB, or you can have a different relationship with umpires. As there's a fly ball right side. Brothers is over and makes the catch. So there's the first out of the inning. But you will have where umpires, I've even heard it say that when listening to some of the national TV broadcasts, that you'll have where if you have a good enough relationship with an umpire, sometimes the catcher can say, hey, I went back and I watched the film on that and you missed it.
Yeah.
And some umpires will say, I know that last night our home plate umpire, one that you know very well, as here comes the first pitch, it'll be Cole Sailing. He has the only hit of the game for the Wildcats. The Wildcats have 2 hits. Yeah. He has one of the 2 hits.
Did you have
a little dribbler?
Tommy last night?
It was Tommy Burris behind the plate, and there was a play, I think it was in the 7th inning, as there's a ground ball to the third baseman, Hawkins. He picks, he fires, and it's thrown into the dugout.
Or hit off the wall.
Yeah, hit off the wall, as it does stay in play. So that's an error on Dane Hawkins. And there's the runner on first base here with 1 out.
Speaking about Tommy, he umped me for 4 or 5 years, and then once I started umping, I actually had my first game with him, so it was kind of a cool little full circle type thing.
But there was a moment, and I think it was in the 7th inning of the game last night, as the hitter now is Isaiah Johnson, and he watches a first pitch strike right down Broadway, where there was a pitch that everyone in the stadium thought was a strike. He called it a ball, and he immediately said to Chandler McCready, I missed that one.
Mm-hmm.
And he was honest, and you could tell that he did, and he pointed and he looked towards Danny Clark in the Grayson County dugout as there's a pickoff attempt in safely as Sailing, and pointed and said, you know what, I missed that. And sometimes, you know what, you're human. You miss a call.
Yep.
And
umpires
it happens.
are human. It happens.
It happens.
And it takes a good umpire to own up to it like that.
Exactly, and Tommy Burris is one of the best. As there's a foul ball behind the plate. Quickly heading the count here at 0 balls and 2 strikes is Mason Miller.
I know when I'm calling, no matter if I know I got it wrong, I try to stay composed and act like I didn't, because I don't want to admit a mistake, and it takes a good umpire to be able to do that.
The runner Sailing is at first. The 0-2 pitch coming to Isaiah Johnson is ripped down the left field line, just out of the reach of Dane Hawkins. Quickly over to get it is Van Meter, and it's going to hold him only to a single. But the runner moves into scoring position, and you've got runners on first and second with 1 down here in the inning. And that is one of those that just kind of hugged the line, and you've got runners on first and second for the 7th grader, Hunter Wilson. As he flew out to center field in his first at bat. Big moment here for a 7th grader in a district game.
Yep.
So the runner Sailing is at second. Miller checks him, pitches, and it's high.
I have to imagine this is probably the biggest at-bat of this young man's career so far. And I'm sure he's going to have a lot more down the road, but this right here, it's a big spot for him.
Miller checks that runner Sailing at second again and pitches outside for ball 2. And this is one of these things, and I'm by no means blaming Mason when it comes to this, where you will sometimes see pitchers, and here comes Buddy Hobby, the pitching coach, to come out and talk, and where if you worry too much about the runners, you forget about pitching, and you start struggling with your command. I'm sure you've had at least one. You don't have to name a name, but I'm sure that there's at least 1 or 2 pitchers that you caught over your time here at Grayson County where when runners got on base, they turned into a
struggle.
different pitcher.
Absolutely, yeah. And it looks like Mason's worrying about that runner on second just a bit too much. When he comes set, he's giving him 3 or 4 good looks, and when his leg comes up, he's giving him a little turn. And I think Buddy here, he has to be telling Mason to focus on the mitt, focus on the batter.
The umpire, Todd Carver, comes out to break that one up. And we'll do this one more time here as it'll be Hunter Wilson, 2 balls and no strikes is the count. Again, you've got runners on first and second with 1 out here in the top of the 4th inning. Still no score between Grayson County and Edmonson County. Miller checks that runner, a long look down, now delivers the pitch inside. And the count will go 3 balls and no strikes. Do you green light a 7th grader here?
No. No, you just don't. There's about 2 players on this field that I would green light.
3, and there's a called strike right down Broadway from Mason Miller. So 3 balls and 1 strike, and I have a love-hate with the green light. Sometimes I like it, but again, it does depend on the hitter. Swinging over top of that one, and Miller has battled back here to move this count full here at 3 balls and 2 strikes, 1 down here in the top of the 4th.
I only agree with green lighting somebody that can put the ball over the fence, to be honest with you.
The 3-2 inside, and they are loaded with 1 out, and it'll be Grayson Nunn, the 8-hole hitter for Edmonson County. He struck out looking in his first at-bat.
To put simply there, if you fight back from 3-0 and you get that count to full, that's a pitch right there that you want. If you, as a pitcher, you're fighting hard to get that count back. He made his pitch there. That's exactly where he wanted to throw the ball. He just didn't get the call.
The pitch, first one there to Nunn, misses. I guess inside, says the umpire, Todd Carver. I think this is one of these things, though, that if you're Mason Miller, you're not getting a call. You can't let that get into your mind. You have to worry about Nunn right now at the plate. I was about to call him Preston Nunn, but Preston Nunn was a heck of a ball player. I know that.
He caused some trouble for us throughout the years. But here you have the corners in, ball to the corners. You're coming in. Hopefully you can roll it up the middle.
Play at any base. Swinging breaking ball is a called strike at the knees.
It was a nice 12-6 that just broke into the zone right there. Batter really didn't stand a chance.
Nunn again struck out looking at his first at bat. That's got to be in the back of his mind right now. The infield is in. The pitch, called strike 3. He goes down looking one more time. And Mason Miller going to try and pull a rabbit out of his hat one more time, and it's going to go to Dylan Lindsay. He's 0 for 1 with a strikeout in his first at bat as well.
And I have to imagine in a spot like that, the batter not being aggressive, that strike zone gets a little bit bigger and you get that call.
And Lindsay, first pitch swinging, fouls it off behind the plate.
I know most umpires, if the batter goes up there looking to hit, you're going to give them a good zone because they want to hit the ball. If you go up there looking, then they're going to widen the zone because what's the point of going up there looking for a
Big
walk?
hitter coming here, though, to Lindsay. And he grounds one up the middle. Miller bobbles. He's going to try and recover. Throwing, and he is safe, says the umpire. Miller bobbled the ball, and the bobble allows the runner to be reaching safe at first base. And it is 1-0 Edmonson County. As hustling down the line all the way was Dylan Lindsay. And the thing that sucks about that one is, in a way, you have to call that E1 on the pitcher because there was ever so slight of a bobble that called the runner to be safe. And it'll go back to the top of the order for Clay Walden. He struck out swinging and popped out to the second baseman, Gavin Childress, who made a nice play.
Yeah, and I don't want to sound rude with it, but that just it can't happen. You got to make those plays.
I mean, you make that play as there's a foul ball behind the plate, and you make that play
99 times out of 100.
You make that play when there's nobody out.
Yeah.
You really gotta make it when there's the bases loaded and 2 outs.
That's PFP right there. Pitcher fielding practice. They're going to get plenty of it tomorrow.
Exactly. The 1-1 pitch coming to Clay Walden, trying to get out of the inning with no further damage, and it's fouled off. And Miller's in a pitcher's count here at 1 ball and 2 strikes. In this pitcher's count, though, you got to take advantage of it if you are the senior Miller.
And that's what they had last at bat, I do believe. And Mason took advantage of it. He just didn't take advantage of the ball in play.
Miller checks the runner. Johnson at third delivers the pitch, and it's fouled off. And doing a nice job there is Walden just to keep that bat alive. Another big pitch coming here. You can't allow another runner across the plate here if you're Grayson County when your bats have been quiet to start off.
Well, you have to limit the damage here.
Miller a long look in. The pitch is called, strike 3. That ends the inning, but Edmonson County does score 1, and through 3.5, it's 1-0. Wildcats on top. This is Cougar Baseball on KHSAA. Welcome back. Bottom of the 4th inning. Grayson County finds themselves with their first deficit so far this year against Edmonson County. It's 1-0 though, and 4, 5, and 6 to lead off the inning for Grayson County. It'll be Camden Brothers. Reached on a fielder's choice in his first at bat, Gavin Vineyard. The pitcher is out for this 4th inning of work, and the first pitch is a ground ball to the third baseman, Wilson. He recovers, throws across the diamond. 1 pitch, 1 out.
For the Cougars here, you give up a run on defense, you have to fight back on offense, knock one in, because when you score a run, you get a good feeling, you get high on it, and you give up a run, it's really deflating, and it's pretty much like you're down a run at that point. As
they always say, it's hard to win if you don't score a run. First pitch here to Eli Watson. He fouls off. Watson in his first at bat struck out swinging. He had a nice at-bat, though, that he went down on strikes. He was swinging at some bad pitches, but fouled some off to keep them alive.
He looks like he's way out in front of everything here, so there's no reason to throw him a fastball. You got to pelt him with off speed.
That's exactly what he does there, and gets a called strike on the inside corner.
And as a batter, when you present yourself that you're not going to be able to hit the off speed, you really dig yourself a hole because that's all you're going to get.
The 0-2 pitch coming to Watson is a line drive, base hit, no diving play, and he does not make the play. As I thought it was going to drop, but Cole Sailing made a heck of an attempt on the ball, and it was a nice job by Todd Carver. It's one of those things
he trapped it.
Without a umpire on third base, it's hard for the umpires to see that far, and it clearly did drop, but Cole Sailing didn't try to get one of those where he fell down and stick it in the glove and do an attempt on it. But there's a runner on base for Grayson County.
And we were talking about Eli there not being able to hit the off speed. He kept his weight back and just pulled it over the shortstop.
Mason Miller flew out to right field in his first at bat, trying to help himself here with the runner Watson at first, and he watches the first pitch ball on the inside corner. Watson, not a ton of speed at first base.
Not the situation that you would expect to hit and run, but you never know with Danny. You could see one here.
When you find yourself at a 1-0 deficit, anything can happen when the bats have not been great so far tonight.
A good hit and run will really mess with the defense, and this is the defense that's already struggling.
The pitch is a line drive into left center field, and that's going to go all the way to the wall. Watson rounds second. He's going to go into third base, and he is going to have to stay there. And they're going to hold him at third base as the ball got past the shortstop Rose. But you've got runners on second and third with 1 out, as that one was ripped by Mason Miller into the gap.
That was a good piece of hitting right there.
And immediately a courtesy runner in for Miller at second base, as it is going to be Braden Renfro who will run for Miller. And it's going to go to Ethan Snyder. He's 0 for 1 tonight. And in his first at-bat, he had that line out that was caught by the pitcher on a pretty nice play by Vineyard.
if I know Ethan, though, Ethan knows baseball, and he knows what he has to do right here. Infield's playing back. You just got to put the ball on the ground, and you tie this game up.
And the first pitch is outside for ball 1. Big moment in this game, a hit to the outfield. If he does just what Mason Miller just did, and you got yourself the lead if you're Grayson County. I'm telling you, Mason, I'm sure that there had been a hit all season that felt as good as that one.
No, absolutely
pitch
not.
high is like we had mentioned, and I think knowing a little bit about Mason, I feel like he'd tell you that he's been struggling hitting the ball.
Right. He can recognize that.
And that's only his 6th hit of the season, his 2nd double, but none
a
bigger,
good one.
especially when you're the one pitching tonight.
Yep.
Called strike on the outside corner, and the count moves to 2 balls and 1 strike here to Ethan Snyder.
And Mason really barreled that ball up. And if you've never played baseball, you can't really understand the feeling of barreling a ball up like that. That's just a good feeling.
The 2-1 is high and over the head of Snyder, and 3 balls and 1 strike, and that's kind of a wake-up pitch there for Ethan Snyder.
Yep.
You don't want to – I mean, it's kind of – we say this. It's hard to say. Forget about almost getting hit in the head.
3-1 here, you're looking for a fastball to drive in a run.
And that's exactly what he gets, and he grounds one up the middle under the glove of the pitcher. It's bobbled by the second baseman, and he's not going to have a play. 1-1, Grayson County scores that one. Is tough play by Lindsay coming all the way over to grab that one.
That's unfortunately, I think that has to go in the book as an error on the second baseman.
It's another tough play. It's one of these bang-bangs that you can go back and forth on as it was bobbled. And
that's a tough play for any pitcher to make, but Ethan did his job there, and the pitcher could have made a real good play and really ruined that shot, but Ethan does his job. He's on first base, and we got a tie game.
Jaron Van Meter will hit now for Grayson County. He grounded out to the shortstop in his first at-bat. He's got a big hole on that left side if he wants to go that way. He shows bunt, pops it straight up into the net. A little interesting play call there from Danny Clark. Looks like we might have had a little safety squeeze called there.
And I was dogging Danny a little bit earlier for the bunt, but in that situation, I don't hate it because this defense has made 3 or 4 errors already. You got the go-ahead run coming from third on a bunt.
And the third baseman is playing even with the base, and saying that both corner infielders are having to play back because they got runners. The runner is off, and Van Meter fouls that one off, and now you've got no balls and 2 strikes. So the runner, Renfro, is at third base, and from what I can tell about Braden Renfro and the little I know about him, is if a ball gets away from the catcher Johnson, he does have the speed to score.
And Jaron, he's had speed here, especially from the left side. You put the ball on the ground, they're not doubling him up.
Exactly. Ground ball is not a bad thing here.
It'd be a great thing.
There's a pitch outside for ball 1. That one was in the right-handed batter's box for sure. So Grayson County's already tied up this game here in the bottom half of this inning.
And you have to imagine Ethan Snyder will be on the run here in a second.
So the 1-2 pitch coming to the freshman, Jaron Van Meter, trying to give Grayson County the lead in this game. Big lead by Snyder. Pickoff attempt, he's in safe. Only 1 down in the inning as well. And Chaz Wilson walks about halfway to the mound to hand deliver that ball to the junior pitcher, Gavin Vineyard.
Yep. We talked earlier about Hunter Wilson, the 7th grader, being in a big spot. This is a freshman up right here, and by far the biggest at-bat of his young career.
The 1-2 pitch coming to Van Meter. He swings the bat, and stepping off is Vineyard, and he looks back Ethan Snyder. It's Jaron Van Meter. He gets right back in that box. He's ready to hit the ball.
He's got to be ready because all the pressure right here isn't on Jaron. It's on the pitcher.
Swings that bat. Snyder is off and running, and he has a slow ground ball foul. So it was a high chopper down that third base line, and it's probably the one place in the infield you don't want to hit it.
Yeah. And that's one thing that young hitters have to recognize. In a spot like this, you're nervous. You feel like the pressure's on you, but it's not. It's on the pitcher.
The 1-2 pitch coming one more time. Jaron Van Meter trying to add in a run here for Grayson County. Another pickoff attempt. Snyder in safely, and Chaz Wilson thought about going across the diamond, but the third baseman, Hunter Wilson, wasn't ready.
And he probably wouldn't have been able to see the ball with the sunset either.
It is, because the sun for the third baseman is right in his eyes, and he's not wearing his sunglasses either down at third base.
Interesting.
And the pitch called, strike 3 outside. The runner, Snyder, does advance.
Whew.
And there's the second out of this inning. And it's going to go now to Gavin Childress, the senior. He's 0 for 1 tonight with a pop out to the second baseman. Big moment here for a senior to step up in a district game, tie game, 2 runners in scoring position.
Feels like he's done this before.
It is a little deja vu. If only it was Butler County, right? And the first pitch he sees is in the dirt for ball 1.
And this is a spot here where the senior has to do what seniors do.
Hit the ball.
Come up when it matters.
As you've got speed on second base, and Snyder has a huge lead. They're going to let him take the biggest lead as he wants. There's a called strike on the outside corner. And the one thing, you know what, our umpire, that pitch is outside, but he's calling it.
Yeah.
He's being consistent in calling it. And if you're a hitter, you've got to adjust to it.
Yep.
The 1-1 coming to Childress. He swings at a pitch inside, and falling behind in the count here at 1 ball and 2 strikes is the senior Childress, and this is the biggest pitch of this game so far tonight.
He has to find a way to come through here for his team.
Renfro stands at third. Snyder stands at second. The 1-2 is a ground ball left side. It's going to be a tough play for Hunter Wilson. The 7th grader throws. Childress is safe down at first base. 2-1 Cougs. A slow ground ball and an infield hit for Gavin Childress, and he was hustling down the line, probably the fastest he's run all season.
I love Gavin, but he's not known for his wheels. That's as quick as he's made it down the line as I've ever seen.
Is that Gavin Childress, or is that Billy Hamilton down there?
That's Colton Wong on first base right there.
I think was he running all the way to Short Creek there?
He might have been.
So it'll be Dane Hawkins now to step in for Grayson County as the Cougars have taken the lead here. He's 1 for 2 today. He had a base hit in his last at bat. You've got runners on the corners. Childress takes an awkward path back to the bag there.
That's the Gavin I know.
Is he okay there? In fact, he rolled his ankle there on first base, and I hope Gavin is okay. Yeah. As he did come in awkwardly and land, and let's hope it is just a rolled ankle and not something more serious, as he's walking all the way up the right field line right now, and they're going to give him a moment to see if he's okay. And
hopefully that'll be something to look back and laugh at, not look back and groan about.
Jody Nutt, the first base coach, is talking with him right now, and it's his left ankle, it looks like, and he's kind of swinging it in the air. It looks like he's okay. It's one of those probably you just kind of had to walk it off a little bit and see how you feel.
A little bit of shock there.
So 2 down, and it'll be again Dane Hawkins. You've got Snyder at third. Childress is that runner at first.
This is who you want up to bat right here. Edmonson County, they're nervous right here. Absolutely nervous.
They just lost the lead that they gained back in the top half of this inning. Pitch inside is a cold strike.
They're losing, and, you know, you score a couple runs here, it becomes a really big deficit, and you have the most formidable bat on this team up at the plate.
Hawkins hitting over 400 on the season. The pitch off and running, and I guess it's a swing and a miss. I guess he didn't make any contact on it, and that's probably not the worst thing in the world because Childress was running on the play, and if he found it, he'd had to go back, and Gavin Childress gets a stolen base, and now you've got runners on second and third.
I am curious if that was a hit and run, because that was certainly an interesting-looking swing.
So you've got 2 runners in scoring position. The 0-2 pitch to Dane Hawkins is a foul ball into the Edmonson County dugout, and a nice snag down there by someone in the dugout there for the Wildcats.
That's the best play Edmonson County's made all night.
I mean, that was he barehanded that ball as it was a high hop, and he made it look easy.
That was a heck of a play.
The 0-2 one more time to the senior Hawkins. Swing and a miss. He goes down on strikes. But the Cougars take the lead here as it's 2-1 through 4. This is Cougar Baseball on Welcome back here to Donley Field, the top of the fifth inning. Mason Miller finds himself with a lead now at 2-1. As Grayson County found themselves with the deficit at 1-0 and did exactly what you should do when you fall behind.
Punch back.
Punch back, and that's kind of what it is anytime Grayson County and Edmonson County play. It's a little bit of a boxing match.
Mm-hmm.
Edmonson County landed a left hook. Grayson County came away with a right hook. And let's see who can land maybe a knockout punch here in this fifth inning.
Yep.
As it'll be Gavin Vineyard, the pitcher, to lead off. He had an infield single in his first at-bat and popped out to the second baseman. So he's 1 for 2 so far tonight.
And Mason Miller has to approach this inning a little bit different. You're pitching with a lead, which he hasn't done all night. And you have to be aggressive. You have to throw first pitch strikes.
And the first pitch by Miller is high for ball 1. As Vineyard tonight again, that 1 for 2, and the one hit he had was in the hole in shortstop, and Ethan Snyder almost made a very, very nice, he did make a very nice play. He didn't get the out at first base, but it was a great play. I'm sure Danny Clark, if he'd go back and watch quote-unquote film, he couldn't have drawn it up much better. It's not like you can coach him to say, hey, you should have done this. It's just, hey, he was hit so slow that there was nothing you could do. The 2-0 coming to Vineyard is a called strike on the outside corner. So we'll try to get you an update here from the Lady Cougar softball game. They're playing at Apollo tonight. And in the bottom of the third inning, it's Apollo 10, Lady Cougars 2. And there's a sweeping breaking ball called strike. That one ended up pretty much right down the middle, and Vineyard just watched that one go by.
And you can get away with hanging a breaking ball for a strike because we're at high school.
The 2-2 popped up behind the plate and actually might be, okay, I guess it's just a little bit beyond our press box here. As at first I thought we might have had a shot there that was going to hit us on our heads here, quote unquote, you could say. The break even coming from Miller one more time is a fly ball left field. Van Meter has it read, and he will grab that one, and he barely even had to move. And I think if he probably, as we were talking here, probably called that one loud and said, hey, I got this one. Not going to let any other outfielder come and grab it. It'll be Chaz Wilson to step in, and Wilson tonight struck out looking and grounded out to third base. He's 0 for 2 today, and with one of the more formidable hitters, not only just in the 12th district, but in the third region. You got to be thinking he's going to be swinging, and that's exactly what he does, and he grounds it to the shortstop Snyder, who throws on. And if you can get Chaz Wilson out one pitch.
They've really contained him here tonight, and that could end up being a key to their victory.
It'll now turn to Gavin Rose, who's their other big hitter for this Edmonson County team. He walked in his first at-bat and flew out to Camden Brothers in right field in his second at-bat.
I tell you what, if Chaz does come up again, after going over, he's going to be really aggressive, swinging at just about everything because he's going to try to buy a hit.
More than likely, he would have at least one more at-bat in this game as we're in the top of the fifth inning. So unless Miller can retire him in order, it will be at least one more at-bat for Chaz Wilson in this game, presumably in the bottom of the seventh inning. The top of the seventh inning. The 1-0 is a ground ball up the middle. Snyder will corral it. He throws across the diamond, and there is the inning.
That's
Mason Miller, 9 pitches to get out of the inning. And through 4.5, the Cougs lead the Cats 2-1. It's Cougar Baseball on KHSAA. Welcome back here to Donley Field. where Grayson County leads this one 2-1. Try to add some more insurance runs here in this inning, as it'll be Caden Woodcock 2-3-4 to lead off the bottom of the fifth. Woodcock 0 for 1 tonight, reached on an error and sacrificed in his 2 at-bats. So he's had 2 decent at-bats. I mean, reached on an error. Good things can happen when you get on base, and a sacrifice.
Third baseman's playing back here.
And Woodcock has speed, but he flies one straight away center field. Walden has it read and will make the play. So there's the first out here in this bottom of the 5th inning. Woodcock sees only 1 pitch from Vineyard.
It's hard to complain about hard contact, but when you're Caden, you have to recognize what kind of hitter you are. You're not somebody that's going to put one 450. You got speed and quick hands. You want to watch pitches, beat the ball on the ground, and get on base.
Chandler McCready steps in 0 for 2 tonight for the Cougars. Struck out looking and reached on an error. And the first pitch to him just misses. Inside, I guess, for ball 1. As McCready, again, it's one of those things when you're the catcher, you know the strike zone as best as anybody. So you got to make sure that you own it when you're up there. That pitch is in the dirt, and he's in a hitter's count here at 2 balls and no strikes. Cougs on top 2-1 here. They scored 2 in the bottom half of the 4th inning after Edmonson County took the 1-0 lead in the top half of that inning. McCready's pitch inside there, and 3 balls and no strikes to the 3-hole hitter, Chandler McCready.
And before you ask, red light.
Red light.
Red light.
McCready nearly missed a double as you rip one down the left field line in his last at-bat. It was going to be a red light no matter what, as it was low and inside, and a 4-pitch walk to Chandler McCready. And the Cougars batting order will now turn to Camden Brothers. He's 0 for 2, reached on a fielder's choice and grounded out to the third baseman in his 2 at-bats so far today.
Chandler right here is pretty thrilled to be running for himself, I'll tell you that.
As Danny Clark decides not to go courtesy for him.
He is thrilled.
And a pickoff attempt, he's in safely. Is McCready down at first base. So again, Camden Brothers is the batter for Grayson County. 1 down here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. As the first pitch there is a ground ball to the shortstop, Rose. He goes to second, goes to first, and that is a 6-4-3. No, is it a 6-4-3? Is he safe? I guess he did beat it out. They say Camden Brothers down there at first base. He was hustling down the line, so instead it'll be a 6-4 fielder's choice for Grayson County. His Brothers was hustling down the line, and the umpire said he was safe. So bottom of the 5th inning here, 2 down, as it'll be Gavin Vineyard against Eli Watson. Now Watson had a base hit into left field in his last at-bat, and first pitch swinging, he fouls it off behind the plate. So you got the runner Brothers at first base.
If you can tack on an extra run here, you're gonna feel like you're up quite a few runs, even if it is just 2. If Mason has settled into a groove here, be good for the Cougars.
Insurance is always a good thing.
Yep.
And that pitch is high, and Brothers has to scurry back in. So our count moves here to 1 ball and 1 strike. So I always say, there's no such thing as too many runs that you score.
Absolutely
no
not.
such thing. As especially when you're playing your biggest rival in a district game. I know that there are some things where you will see some as that was a hit and run there. His Brothers was off and running, and Watson stays alive by fouling that one off. I mean, there are some things that you don't blow teams out of the water, but in a district game, there's a little bit of you that you want to.
You gotta, if you get your foot on their throat, you have to press down a little harder. You can't let up.
The 1-2 pitch. Brothers takes a slight lead off at first. Wilson holds him over, and that's a cold strike 3, and that is the inning. Through 5, 2-1. Cougs lead Edmonson. It's Cougar baseball on K. Welcome back here to Donley Field. Edmonson County and Grayson County. It's the Cougars on top 2-1. So we head into this top of the 6th inning. Leading off for the Wildcats will be the left fielder Cole Sailing. He reached on an error by Dane Hawkins in his last at-bat and had that little dribbler that was about 40 miles per hour off the bat that found the hole on the right side in his first at-bat. So he's been on base both times. He's going to look to start off the inning the right way for Edmonson County. Mason Miller, the senior pitcher, in for the 6th inning of work. And the first pitch to him is outside for ball 1. Miller, that was his 88th pitch of the game. Something to keep an eye on, as you still got 2 innings to work with. So pitch count is not right on the top of the head of Danny Clark, because there's a foul ball out of play. But something to keep in mind that if this inning...
His pitch count is not in shambles, but it's not in great shape either.
As this will be his 90th pitch of the game, so he's got 30 to work with. Again, as there's a swing and a miss, the count moves to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Again, the maximum amount of pitches that he can have is 120, and as we discussed last week, we weren't entirely sure on the rule. I went back and did some reading. As the 1-2 pitch comes, and he swings at it, and that's strike 3.
Tell you what, if this was an MLB game, that pitch right there would be on Pitching Ninja.
Pitching Ninja,
that would be considered
took a sword.
That was a sword right there.
As Mason Miller, that was his 8th strikeout of this game against Edmonson County, and it'll now turn to Isaiah Johnson. In fact, Miller right now is 1 strikeout away from matching Dane Hawkins from last night, and inside nearly hits Johnson, and Johnson does a nice job to bounce out of the way of that one. I'm sure that there's a little bit of, is there some internal competition that if Mason one-ups Dane here on strikeouts?
I think Mason probably keeps track of it and wants to brag about it to Dane, and I think Dane doesn't care a single bit. He doesn't even know how many strikeouts
The 2-0 pitch coming is called, strike at the knees to Isaiah Johnson. Johnson today 1 for 2. He singled down the left field line in his last at-bat and has also struck out swinging, as that one was one that hugged the line all the way down, and a sweeping breaking ball just misses. That was one of those where sometimes your breaking ball is almost too good. And the 3-1 coming is a fly ball left field. Van Meter goes back to the wall, and it is off the wall, and it bounces away from Van Meter, who falls down. Woodcock wasn't backing him up, and it's going to go all the way to third base, standing up, going in, sliding in, actually, is Isaiah Johnson, the catcher, a triple off the wall.
And right there, Caden has to be backing that ball up, and if he does, then that's held to a double.
That's a tough play there. Exactly. There's no other way to put it. And now you have the tying run 90 feet away for the 7th grader Hunter Wilson, who worked a nice walk in his last at-bat and flew out to center field. And Buddy Hobby's going to make his way out, and he's going to talk with Mason Miller, talk probably a little strategy here, especially with that runner at third base. That is the tying run right now. As long conversation being had right now, and you've been in these conversations hundreds of times. What's Buddy Hobby saying right now, Bradley?
Right now, I mean, he's talking to Chandler at the same time, telling him, you got to be tough back there. You got the tying run on third. You got to be a wall, nothing by you. But really, it's nothing really baseball related. It's all mental, focus, calm down, don't get too ahead of yourself, worry about the batter.
Right now you have Cody Shepard, the first baseman, coming over and talking to the third baseman, Dane Hawkins. That's something you don't see all the time.
No.
As you see the first baseman coming all the way across the diamond to talk to the third baseman. And
it's just in case of the squeeze bunt here to get the go-ahead run in, or tying run.
And the pitch gets away from McCready, but he quickly gets over to it. And it is a ball.
Really, a squeeze bunt here, unless this Edmonson County team struggles with bunts, which is a good possibility.
With a 7th grader?
Doesn't seem like a bad idea. I mean, their bats have been pretty lackluster so far.
The 1-0 pitch is in on the grass. Are both corner infielders, and there's a fly ball in the infield. Hawkins in foul territory will make the play.
And that's there's 2 or 3 contacts that you don't want in a situation like that, and that is most certainly one of them.
When it left the bat at first, you could hear the crack of the bat or the ding of the bat.
Yep.
I thought that was going to be a fly ball to the outfield, which would have been perfect
right
in this situation. But instead, it was a fly ball in front of the Edmonson County dugout with now they're going to be 2 outs.
Yeah, with 2 outs, the corners are still in. They're still expecting maybe a squeeze play here.
Grayson Nunn steps in as he swings over top of the first one. He struck out looking in both at-bats tonight, and that tells you one thing. He is going to be swinging right now.
If you strike out looking twice, you're not doing it again.
Infield moves back a little bit. They're probably not looking at a squeeze play here as Cody Shepard playing even with the bag at first. And that pitch just misses high. For Mason Miller, that was his 100th pitch of the game. Again, something to keep an eye on tonight.
You got to have somebody warming up just in case for the 7th, and you almost have to imagine you might want to give him a clean inning.
And there's a fly ball over to the second baseman. Childress dives and makes the play. Somebody call Sports Center. What a play by Gavin Childress as he dives to his right to make the play and save a run and potentially save the game. Through 5.5, 2-1, Cougars lead Edmonton. This is Cougar Baseball on KHSAA. Welcome back to Don Lee Field. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Gavin Childress saving the game with a diving play. And we have Mason Miller that will lead off for Grayson County. So it'll be 6, 7, and 8 for the Cougars. Update from the Lady Cougar softball game. They trail Apollo 12-2 right now in the top of the 5th inning. So they need to score a run or they'll come away from Owensboro with a loss here tonight. So it'll be Mason Miller in his last at-bat. He had maybe his best hit of the entire season as he had a gap shot into left center field. I think if you're looking right here, that'd be exactly what you'd want in this situation as well. As the first pitch to him is inside for ball 1.
Yeah, but if you're Mason here, you have to be careful, and you want to work off that double, but you don't want to get too aggressive and try to recreate it. You just have to let it come naturally.
He steps in the box, calls time to our home plate umpire, Todd Carver. The wind in the pitch from Vineyard is a called strike on the inside corner. Vineyard so far today, we mentioned that he came into tonight's game with an ERA over 11. He's thrown the ball very well.
He has, yeah.
He's gotten out of trouble a couple of times as Miller grounds one to the shortstop, Rose. He'll throw across the diamond, and there is the first out of this bottom of the 6th inning. If you're Grayson County here, there's probably one thing that you're thinking of: insurance.
Yeah, you need, whether it's Allstate, doesn't matter what kind of insurance you get here. You need something.
As it'll be Ethan Snyder to step in for Grayson County. He lined out to the pitcher and reached on an error in his 2 at-bats. So he's gone right back up the middle both times, and that pitch is in the dirt, the first one to Snyder. As he's hit the ball hard both times. The first one was a nice play by Vineyard. You tip your cap, and the second one, you could go error, you could go hit. It kind of depends on the play by the second baseman there by Lindsay. That pitch is in the dirt as well, and Snyder is ahead in the count here. 2 balls and no strikes. Good hitters count if you're the Cougar sophomore.
It'll certainly be interesting to see how Danny plays the top of the 7th, because Mason probably will hit his pitch count if he's not.
We'll get an update on that here as the 2-0 is in the dirt as well, and that's 3 balls and no strikes. So to update you on Mason Miller's pitch count, right now he's sitting at 101 pitches. So if he has an efficient inning, he can get out of it.
He'll go back out there, I have to assume.
In fact, I look out right now, and it looks like Camden Brothers is warming up in the Grayson County bullpen. And the pitch is a cold strike right down the middle on the 3-0 pitch to Ethan Snyder.
And the only thing to worry about is Camden is a starting pitcher, so you don't really want to bring him in the middle of an inning.
The 3-1 is in the dirt, and that's a walk, and Ethan Snyder gets on base, and with a little bit of speed on the base paths, you could potentially look to put in that insurance run and probably make Danny Clark feel a little bit better about whatever decision he decides to make as far as going out there, because a 2-run lead is a whole lot better than a 1-run lead, because if you want to have deja vu, Mason Miller in the top of the 7th inning had a 1-0 lead against Breckenridge County, was rolling, and Breck County scored the 1 run to put us into extra innings, and we ended up playing what felt like about 450 innings, but it only went 12. But still, something to keep in mind. Jaron Van Meter steps in 0 for 2, struck out looking in his last at-bat, and he swings over top of that one for strike 1.
It'll be interesting to see if Danny Clark here maybe tries to implement a hit and run. You have speed at the plate, speed on first. Do something to maybe try to mess with this defense.
He delivers the play call to his team. Van Meter looks down at his right wrist to see what that number sequence is. Checks the runner back is Gavin Vineyard. Van Meter didn't even leave the box. Rolls that bat and it bounces in there. As Van Meter holds the bat there on his left shoulder, just kind of swinging it back and forth, making sure that, you know, he can put the bat in play. So the runner is at first base, Snyder again. Grayson County scored 2 runs in the bottom half of the 4th inning after Edmonson had taken the 1-0 lead. Pickoff attempt, Snyder is in safe at first. It's a nice move there by the pitcher, Vineyard.
And if you're Van Meter here, if you can get the ball on the ground up the middle somewhere, if the hit and run is on, then probably get something good out of it.
Especially if you can go left side on a hit and run, because the shortstop is more than likely potentially going to go over and cover
with the lefty on.
Exactly.
Yep, or at bat.
The pitch, the runner is off, and Van Meter does exactly what I just said. And there's a base hit and rounding second and going into third. Heads up base running by Ethan Snyder as it gets through and into the outfield. And Grayson County's got runners on first and third with 1 out.
And that is great baseball right there. You see the shortstop break to second, you hit it right where he should be. And Ethan Snyder, great base running, taking third there.
He didn't stop, did Ethan Snyder? And that is,
and that may end up being a crucial mistake for Edmonson County. That ball has to stay in the infield. Shortstop can't let that bomb.
Gavin Childress had an infield single that he hustled out in his last at-bat that kept that inning alive in the bottom of the 4th. He's going to try to look to add a run here. And he's looking to bunt, and he bunts one down the first base line. We're going to have a play at home. He's safe. The safety squeeze works to perfection. Gavin Childress lays it down, and Grayson County has a 3-1 advantage.
And that's a great bunt right there. And probably if you're Chaz there, you probably try to go ahead and get the for sure out at first, but he wanted to protect the 1-run deficit, and he really didn't have a chance at it.
I mean, perfect job, though, by Childress. If anything, you probably wanted to take a little bit more off of that to make the play a little bit closer, but you know what?
You brag about that more than you brag about a base hit, honestly, because getting a well-executed bunt down, it's impressive.
And it's now 3-1 Grayson County, so that changes things as well. It makes you feel a little bit better going into
and you have your best hitter at the plate here now.
And Dane Hawkins, and you got to think that he missed a huge chance in the 4th inning as he grounds one to the third baseman, and it gets through into left field. They're going to hold the runner, Van Meter, at third, and the bases will be loaded for Caden Woodcock. As he put the first ball he saw and went underneath the glove of the third baseman, and Danny Clark holds up Jaron Van Meter, and it's one of those that it's tough play, and immediately we're going to have a coaching visit here out on the mound for Edmonson County, and the entire infield is going to come in and talk. I don't believe that is Bo West, their head coach. I believe that is one of their assistants. So that would tell me that this is not a pitching change. Gavin Vineyard only at 84 pitches, so he's nowhere near that pitch count limit. But something to keep in mind. Grayson County Lady Cougars have scored in the top half of the 5th inning, so if they can hold Apollo, the game will go at least one more. It's 12-3 right now in the top of the 5th. They trail the E-Gals. That game is being played over in Owensboro. I think they have a fairly new softball. I know they redid a bunch of their facilities over there at Apollo. So it's 3-1 Grayson County. Caden Woodcock on with 3 ducks on the pond. Woodcock 0 for 2 tonight. Reached on an error. sacrificed and flew out to center field. So you know where to put him if you're Gavin Vineyard. Beautiful opportunity here if you're Grayson County to potentially add some more insurance.
You need a run or two here.
The pitch is a ground ball to the third baseman. It's picked by Wilson. He'll come home, and that's 1 out. And they're not going to get a second one, and now you're going to go to the 3-hole hitter, Chandler McCready. It's heads-up play, though, by the third baseman, Wilson, to immediately go home. Smart there by the the seventh grader.
That is most certainly not Caden Woodcock's fault. You have a runner at third with less than 2 outs. You hit the ball hard on the ground. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. He just didn't get lucky out of it.
Chandler McCready will step in, 0 for 2, reached on an error, walked, and struck out looking so far tonight. Again, bases are still loaded. Childress is the runner down at third base. Hawkins is at second. There's a called strike, and Woodcock is at first. So if McCready can hit one into the gap, I'd presume that this could be a bases clearing hit.
Absolutely.
And there's a base hit up the middle. That's going to score 1. It's going to score 2. They're going to wave Hawkins around. A play comes in the plate, and it's thrown up the line, and Hawkins is going to be tagged. As a not very good throw turns into being a perfect throw, and Hawkins is thrown out at home. Grayson County, though, does score another one, and it's 4-1 through 6. This is Cougar Baseball on K1. We head to the top of the 7th inning. Mason Miller going to try and finish what he started, as the Cougars added some insurance in the bottom half of the 6th inning, and they lead this one over the Wildcats of Edmonson County 4-1. For Edmonson County, it'll be 9-1-2 in the order. And if you are Mason Miller, you want to end it there, because 3 and 4, Chaz Wilson and Gavin Rose, have been held quiet today. And when you have 2 hitters who have a combined OPS between the 2 of them of nearly 1.7, and they've been held quiet today, you do not want them to get another chance.
No. You throw fastballs here, you throw strikes, and you put trust in your defense to finish the game.
Mason Miller's pitch count is at 101 pitches. 120 is the max, and we touched on it a little bit earlier. 120, if that happens in the middle of an at-bat, he is able to finish the at-bat. That is the rule there by the KHSAA, so I know we were kind of questioning that last week when I think it was Breckenridge County's pitcher ended up finishing with 121 pitches, but it happened in the middle of the at-bat, and we weren't really sure on the rule. Dylan Lindsay will step in, and the first pitch is outside for ball 1. Lindsay today 0 for 2, reached on an error, and struck out swinging. As that error was by Mason Miller, and Lindsay, you tip your cap because it was only an error because he was busting it out of the box to get down the line. That pitch is in the dirt for ball 2, and that's not what you want to see if you're Grayson County here. It is a 3-run game. A lot can change in this opportunity.
And not to get too nitpicky, but that's not how you come out of the gate when you have a 3-run lead.
The 2-0 to Lindsay. Just misses, and he falls behind in the count here at 3 balls and no strikes. And I think it's especially not how you come out when you're going up against the 9-hole hitter.
You have to attack the bottom of the order.
The 3-0 to Lindsay is a called strike right down the middle. Lindsay obviously taking all the way, because if you're Edmonson County, you need base runners however you can get them right now.
And I have to assume, well,
The 3-1 just fouled off by Dylan Lindsay. And so one thing with Lindsay that stood out is he's done a nice job just staying alive, just getting enough on the ball.
Being annoying.
And you know what?
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to be as a hitter. You're supposed to be a pest.
Exactly. The 3-2, he hits him. As it hits Lindsay, he kind of turned into that one a little bit. And again, it's one of those things that.
Hey, I am not allowed to ever complain about a batter turning into a pitch because I did it so very much.
And it's kind of people think that the rule is that you, quote unquote, have to get out of the way. No, you don't.
No.
If you are in the batter's box, you do not have to get out of the way of that one. Lindsay, a big lead down. It's the Clay Walden is the hitter here for Edmonson County. He's 0 for 3, and he's struck out twice in this game. As you do not have to get out of the way. The only thing that can be is that if you are theoretically get hit by a pitch that the umpire deems is what he would have called a strike, then in that case it is a strike and you are not hit by a pitch.
Right.
That is the one difference in the rule. Mason taking a long look down at, I guess Lindsay is straightening up his pant leg. That's why Mason was taking a long look. I was going to say his run means nothing. The only runners that matter is Clay Walden. And Walden flies one to center field. Woodcock angles back and makes the catch, and there's the first out of the inning. And Mason Miller is 2 outs away from closing this one out.
And that's a big out. The hardest out to get in an inning is the first one.
It'll be Gavin Vineyard. He's 1 for 3 tonight. He's popped out to the second baseman, singled to the shortstop, and flew out into shallow left field. Again, standing in the on-deck circle is the man you do not want to come up, is Chaz Wilson. Double play would be exactly what the doctor ordered right here. Calling time as Miller was just about to wind and fire, and Miller was already in his windup when he saw that the umpire had called time. It was the right call by the umpire to grant time.
And as a coach, you tell your pitcher, if you're going to throw, go ahead and throw, because when you try to stop yourself, you get hurt.
Exactly. And there's a ground ball into left field for a base hit for Edmonson County. And Chaz Wilson will now step to the plate as the tying run with 1 down here in the top of the 7th inning. Again, Wilson tonight 0 for 3. Grounded out to third, grounded out to short, and struck out looking. Briley, we talked about it once, twice, a million times. Wilson, 485 hitter coming into tonight, 7 doubles, 2 home runs, 12 runs batted in, an OPS of nearly 1.5. He's looking to hit the ball. As there's a called strike.
I spoke earlier about who the pressure's on, and right here, I'm really not sure, because right now Chaz could ground into a game-ending double play, but you can't give up a shot in the gap.
The 0-1 is outside for ball 1. Again, like we said, the only person in this stadium run-wise that matters is Chaz Wilson.
Right.
Because the runners at first and second right now would make it a 4-3 game, as Wilson just fouls that one off, and now Miller's in business here at a 1-2 count to the Edmonson County Wildcats' best hitter.
And if I know Chaz, he's not going to get beat. Like you saw earlier, he struck out looking. That's not him getting beat. That's him being wrong. I don't see him striking out swinging here.
The 1-2 pitch. Miller takes a long look down at Lindsay at second. The pitch. Swing and a miss. He goes down swinging on strikes. And the Wildcats are down to their final out, and it'll be the 4-hole hitter, Gavin Rose.
Did you see what I did there, Sam? That's a good reverse jinx.
Exactly. It works to perfection. As so far Rose here is 0 for 2. He's walked, flew out to right field and grounded out to the shortstop. And there's a ground ball right back up to Snyder. He'll take it himself. That's the ball game. Cougars win by a final score of 4-1. They sweep the Wildcats, a 6 unassisted fielder's choice to end the ball game. Grayson County wins 4-1. We'll come back, wrap it up after this, as this is Cougar Baseball right here on KHSAA. a good day to be a Cougar as the Grayson County Cougars pick up the 4-1 win today against the Edmonson County Wildcats. As this was a great performance. Bradley Napier, our color analyst for tonight's game. Bradley, final thoughts tonight?
Well, you have to commend Mason Miller for what he did. He had a couple rough innings there, but he worked his way into trouble, and he worked himself right back out of it, and that's what a good pitcher does.
His final line tonight, 7 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 run, wasn't earned, 9 strikeouts, and 2 walks.
It's a great line, and I think what the most impressive thing about this performance here tonight from the Cougars as a whole is putting those 2 runs up in the 6th, because if you don't put those 2 runs up, that 7th inning is really scary. But the offense did what it had to do, and those insurance runs might have won in the game.
Proved to be the difference here tonight. Grayson County now moves to 5-11 on the season, but the more important thing, 2-0 in district play.
I was about to say, Danny Clark, when he goes to bed tonight, 5-11 is not in his head, but 2-0, their record is 2-0. That's what matters right now.
And I think when you look at the rest of the week, at least as of 7/17 here on April the 27th, looks like we're going to have some rain here over these next couple of days, so who knows what the rest of the week might actually look like. But as of right now, you've got a home game against Hancock County on Thursday and a road game against E-Town on Friday before 2 more district games next week at Whitesville Trinity. So what do the Cougars need to do, Briley, in taking the momentum that you got in sweeping your biggest rival, going into a good, solid third region team that is always good in Hancock County, and then a perennial power from the 5th region in E-Town?
Yeah. You want to carry this confidence. You want to carry, you have to look back at this game, and we put the ball in play. We didn't strike out. I don't know how many strikeouts we had tonight. Couldn't have been many.
5.
You want to keep it 5 or under normally in a high school game, and they did just that. They put the bat on the ball. They scored runs, and you want to win these next 2 games, but at the end of the day, next week, come the end of next week, you could be 4-0 in the season. You could sweep Whitesville, be 4-0, and really that's what matters.
Bradley, appreciate you taking the time today,
Yes, sir.
and we'll see you, I guess, Friday night for some softball action, another district game against Butler County. There's a little Butler County in you there. You got to love Butler County, Grayson County, right?
I'm going to stay silent on that one, Sam.
No comment, and then next week, obviously, another district game. I appreciate you taking the time. We'll take a break, come back, wrap it up after this. It's Cougar Baseball on K10. Grayson County a winner tonight against Edmonson County by a final score of 4-1. As I look down here and walking down the first base line, I don't know if we have a camera that exactly picks it up perfectly. In fact, I might even be able to turn the one that you all are watching right now on K105 Digital Productions. The conversation that everyone would want to be a part of right now, Mr. Spirit talking with head coach Danny Clark for Grayson County, celebrating a big victory here tonight. Grayson County picks up the win tonight by a final score of 4-1. As Cougars fell behind 1-0 in the top half of the 4th inning, but it was 2 quick runs that they got back in the bottom half of the 4th. and added 2 insurance runs in the bottom half of the 6th to get this 4-1 advantage. The final pitching line, Gavin Vineyard is shrouded with a loss, but he has nothing really to hang his hat on. He threw the ball very well. 6 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs. 2 of them were earned, 5 strikeouts, and 2 walks. The winning pitcher for Grayson County, Mason Miller, 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 run, 0 of them earned, 9 strikeouts, and 2 walks. He's thrown the ball extremely well over his last 2 full starts here tonight. The RBIs for Grayson County in this game, Gavin Childress had a pair, Chandler McCready with 1, Ethan Snyder with 1. For Edmonson County, technically they don't even have an RBI on their docket in this game. Final line score in this one, for Edmonson County, 1 run, 5 hits, 3 errors. For Grayson County, 4 runs, 7 hits, and 2 errors. Cougars will be back in action on Thursday against Hancock County here at Leitchfield. No coverage of that game, but our next digital productions coverage will be on Friday at 5:30 as the Lady Cougars will close their district play as they take on Butler County at home. You'll be able to watch that here on K105 Digital Productions. Our next Cougar baseball broadcast will be coming up 1 week from tonight as the Cougar boys will take on Whitesville Trinity. Same time, same place here on K105 Digital Productions next Tuesday. That is May the 4th. So a little Star Wars Day that we'll be able to celebrate as we come in to that one. That wraps up our coverage here tonight on a night where Grayson County picks up the 4-1 win. I want to thank the K105 Digital Productions crew for their hard work tonight. Cody Brock was your camera operator. Briley Napier was your director and your color analyst. So for them on a night where Grayson County picks up the 4-1 victory, this is Sam Gormley saying, so long, everyone.